Now, just a little warning before we begin. There will be major spoilers in this video for the Marvel special presentation, Werewolf by Night. So, if you haven't seen it yet, you don't want anything ruined, it is a really good time to click away. Okay, so what did you think of Werewolf by Night?
I liked it.
I knew you would. You were going to like it no matter what.
No, I wasn't going to like it no matter what.
Yes, you were.
But I thought it was really clever. I guess. Okay. I thought it took itself very seriously, which I very much enjoyed.
Fun yet serious.
Fun yet serious.
That's how you do fun but serious.
It reminded me of more back to the original Marvel movies, where they were fun, but they had serious going on.
Yeah, and the fun didn't destroy the serious. Yes. I mean, well, let's not get into like a Thor: Love and Thunder if you want to see undermining your serious moments. But I mean, you can. I don't want to look at you, She-Hulk, but I am. But you can do something that is fun, but also can be serious at the same time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I agree. I mean, I like it for the most part. It's not really my cup of tea, per se. I'm not really into the whole horror genre kind of guy. I know.
If they would have turned the color on, would it have made it less horror?
Hey, I like when they did turn the color on. They played Over the Rainbow. I mean,
it was fitting.
First ever color movie was Wizard of Oz, yes. So very fitting.
Although this was set in current Marvel timeline, this was not set in the past.
No, which I didn't know initially. You told me, we were talking about it a couple days ago, and like, oh, this is modern time. Oh, okay.
It's just how they chose to shoot it.
Yeah, to avoid all the blood.
It's partially why, yes.
Because didn't this get like a...
This would have had a much
no
harder...
rating or something, or...
It was going to have a really harsh rating, but by putting it in black and white, they were able to avoid that because the blood that you definitely would have seen, you didn't...
It was just the black stuff on the screen. It's funny because it's still blood. Like we still know what's the difference between seeing the actual color.
The violence was kind of vicious.
Probably the most violent we've seen out of the MCU.
I mean, we had... Throats cut, throats ears cutting, bitten off, and
I can't think of anything else in the MCU that's been this
vaporized.
Violent. Yeah, Man-Thing doing his thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Ted. Yes, I liked Ted.
Ted was good. I really liked Elsa. I don't know a lot about these characters. This is a side of Marvel I usually am not in, but as soon as I saw her on screen, I'm like, that's going to be Elsa Bloodstone, right? Because I know a little bit. And I really thought Jack was adorable.
Adorable when he was like eating people.
He's like, let's just walk past each other.
I did like that. Yeah,
she's like, what?
Yeah.
This is a cutthroat competition to claim the Bloodstone.
That was the moment I knew something was definitely. I mean, you kind of figured something was going to be up with him from the very start.
Timidity and
and then he runs into her like, let's just pretend we didn't see each other. I'm like, oh, something is definitely up with this guy.
And then Man-Thing grabs him and he's like, oh, Ted, I want to save you again. Their relationship was so cute.
What I love about Man-Thing, and credit to the CGI artists who probably were working 25 hours a day as usual at Marvel. But I love how when he needs to be terrifying, like Man-Thing looks absolutely terrifying. You know, like, oh my God. And then it's like just a little change of the look of the face, and it's like, oh, he looks so cute.
The eyes too, yeah.
You saw the eyes
change as soon as she called him Ted. He's like, whoa.
Yeah, but even when we first see him and he's all angry, and then I love when you can do that, when the big creature can turn into the cute
puppy dog.
Exactly, the cute, huggable, lovable thing. Well done.
I really liked I really appreciated the whole scene where he's trapped in the cage and she's pretty much there to be fed on. Yeah. She's going to be killed by him, and he grabs her and he tries to learn her scent and warns her if this could help you. And I thought that was really cool. Like, you could see the desperation he really wanted to hurt her. He wanted to keep her alive. He wanted to save her. And I think Ted at the end was making some sort of joke about how he liked her.
I did. That was one of my favorite parts, was the bitter end, when you had to imply what Ted, whatever we want to call him, was saying, and
which was smart because they weren't constantly like just kind of telling you what he was saying, because we were pretty much just getting a glimpse of those two. So it wouldn't make sense for him to be like, oh, and by the way, this is what Ted is saying. He's not talking to anyone else, so why would he need to interpret?
I'd watch a Ted Marvel Disney Plus series.
Just Ted and Jack.
Yeah, Ted. I mean, it sounds so innocuous, It sounds so... It'd be like the little fun, cute thing. Now these are two monsters.
What's great about this is I want to see more of this, absolutely. But at the same time, if you would have made this into like a weekly serial,
I don't know.
It wouldn't have been good. It wouldn't have worked.
It works as a 1 hour kind of fun thing.
Yeah, I wish it could have been a little longer.
I know I just said I'd take a series, but in all reality, it's something that, okay, it was about as long as it need it to be and any longer, and I would be like, all right.
And you could say, oh, well, they didn't develop the characters' backstories.
It's not about that always,
but that wasn't what it was about. And we got enough information to make this just a fun, enjoyable watch, which is what it was meant to be.
They gave you just enough to infer, and to get to know the characters and to care about them a little bit. Is it a masterpiece of storytelling? No, but not everything has to necessarily
Sometimes
be
you can
that.
just watch things for fun.
Yes. And I know we could make a comparison to She-Hulk, but it's in the writing too. I mean, it's not, it's well written. I'm not trying to say this isn't well written. It's well written and fun, and it's something, it's just quickly watch. And so, yes, you don't have to, take yourself too seriously, but you do have to take yourself seriously.
What I think is interesting is the director, Michael Giacchino, I believe it was, he is the one who did the soundtrack for, Doctor Strange. He's a composer.
He likes that kind of, yeah. He's got a little.
I just think it's interesting that he's a composer who's now flipped the script and he's directing. And usually you hear it's actors who turn to directing. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Different point of view. And the music was good throughout the whole thing and was prevalent. And obviously he would have paid key note to that. The Ulysses skeleton in a box thing was a bit creepy.
Oh, that was probably
the creepiest thing. Yeah. Who does this? And I guess he wanted this. This is how he wanted it done. Creepy. Like I said, I would have loved to know more of the family dynamic, why Elsa left, where she went to train in the meantime, what happened with the relationship with her and her stepmother, why are her and her dad, why does she want the bloodstone? Yeah, there's a bunch of questions I would have loved, but this was just as special, and I'm not going to sit there and complain about information that I didn't need exactly to watch the story, that afterwards I just would have wanted, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you could have made it the hour and a half thing and taken that extra 30 minutes to, have a lot of, some exposition and some more character interaction and learned all these things. But is that going to make it better? I don't know. Like I said, it's meant to be a fun thing. And I'm fine with fun things in the MCU, but you still have to, like I said, you still have to be good. You still have to be well written, enjoyable, and you still have to, again, take yourself seriously to some degree, right? Mm-hmm.
Well, I even love that moment after, she goes, hey, man, Jack went that way. And you see him walking out, and he grabs a cloak so that he can clothe his friend once he finds him.
He's done this before.
He's done this before. Yeah. He's like, oh, you got anything for him to wear? He's going to be naked again. I don't want to see his man thing.
Oh, my God.
I kid.
So you do want to see it?
I kid.
I backed you into a corner there.
No, I thought this was a fun viewing experience.
Yeah.
I would like more little projects like these. Maybe it seemed well thought out. It was fun. I actually do hope they do some sort of follow-up to this maybe next year for Halloween. Make another little short
if it's popular, I'm sure
of
they
this. Will. But don't cross that line, Don't cross that line and decide we need something huge and epic and overthink things because this was thought out just enough.
Yes. Mm-hmm. As you said, I would kind of like more stuff like this. Not everything needs to be either a series or a full-on movie. You can just have a story. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that streaming services haven't kind of, latched onto the idea that you don't always have to format everything exactly as either a movie or a series, that you can take an hour and make something fun and it can be enjoyable. And, I'd love to see, it's like Star Wars, for example. I'd love to see like just an hour, kind of like Visions, for example, but longer, just stories set in the universe that are just brief and fun, yet, have a little bit something to them. They're not just fun. I'm surprised that you don't see more of this in the day and age of streaming where you don't have to fit a certain box of, your 23-minute half-hour show because of commercials or the hour and a half movie. It'd be nice to see more like this, actually.
In-betweens.
Yeah.
What did you think about the black and white nature of it and how it was shot the old school method?
I'm fine with that. I mean, it was neither a positive or a negative. I guess for some it's going to feel more,
I actually looked at it as a positive because it did remind me of when I would watch movies with my dad when he was showing me movies that he remembered as a kid, the original horror movies and things, and
sure, yeah,
those old school cheesy-ish looking effects. I was like, it's kind of nice in this age of high graphics, high this, high that, to see something done in such an older
What do you mean?
style.
This was filmed on the volume. I'm just kidding.
To see something done in this style was different, and that made it refreshing in a way.
Yeah, I can see that.
Would I want to see everything now switch to this? No. But to have a one-off that just totally breaks the mold and goes, we're giving you black and white, old school effects, the lightning strikes, the shadows that show you the transformations. It was cool.
No, I agree. It's stylistic. It's not just, it pays homage to, old school, as you say, horror and stuff. So, yeah. I mean, like, for me, like I said, it was neither like a really cool positive thing or by any means like a distracting negative. It was what it was, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. But, like I said, I really enjoyed watching this. I mean, we have to give this a hammer scale, don't we?
I think so, yeah.
I think this goes on the hammer scale.
I'm going to let you go first.
I never go first.
I have to hammer this out first? I'll give it a 7.5. It's enjoyable. It was, I mean, I know I've said I wouldn't mind more of this, but again, this isn't really, in general, I'm not really kind of the horror movie kind of guy, and, so 7.5 is a pretty good score for me. That's like a 10 of something that I'm not normally into. We'll put it that way. Well, maybe not a 10, but you know what I mean. Like this, it's good. It's really good. So don't take my lower score. It's just personal preference. This is not my general thing that I watch.
I'm gonna give it a 9 because it had so much nostalgia factor for me personally. Like I said, it reminds me of watching movies with my dad. I have to remind myself to let my dad know he should watch this. This is up now because I told him about it a while ago and he was interested. Yeah. But yeah, I had a really good trip down memory lane with those old school effects, with just a nice, simple, here's your story, here we go, have a good time. Roughly an hour worth of just
do more of it. Like I said, do more of it in different styles. Like like the idea of Visions, where you had kind of different studios doing different styles, and do more of this. I think, like I said, I think these streaming services are kind of missing the mark, where they always feel like they have to format something one way or the other. Either it's a series or it's a movie. Nah. Do something fun. Do something different. Why not? And this is proof that I think that those ideas could work. All right. Well, that's all we got for you this time. So take to the comments below. Tell us if you have watched Werewolf by Night and what you thought of it. And until next time, thanks for watching.